UFOs are real, burgeoning, not going away. I am your intrepid host, Elliot Marzulli. This is another update on the ongoing UFO disclosure. So this is really interesting. I think you'll find it food for thought. And the headline is UFOs are demonic, aliens visiting from other dimensions in latest theory. So I'll be weighing in on this and so much more. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Folks, have you taken a good look at the banks lately? On the surface, everything seems fine. But there seems to be a whole lot more going on underneath. It's like looking under the hood of a car and finding a mess of broken wires and parts. The parts are loans for homes, cars, and those credit cards we all use. Folks, they're hitting record highs. It's kind of scary when you think about it. Why risk your money for a tiny 5% return when things are so shaky? This is where Noble Gold Investments can help. They're like that friend who knows all about keeping money safe. They suggest gold and silver, oldies but goodies in the financial world. Plus, they've got a sweet deal, a free 1/4 ounce gold standard coin this month if you qualify. Pretty good stuff, right? If you're curious, just give them a call at 877-646-5347. It's just a chat, no pressure. They'll help you figure out if gold and silver are right for you. Or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Once again, the number 877-646-5347. Folks, we've invested in Noble Gold, and quite frankly, I'm glad we did. Yeah, so this is really interesting. A new theory, or one of the oldest, depending on your point of view, is that aliens and UFO visitors are actually demonic beings coming from another dimension. That's my wheelhouse. That's what all 8 of our films are about. That's what we talk about here constantly. That's what I've been promulgating for literally decades. I've been warning how this ties into the biblical prophetic narrative, but I digress, so what else is new? With the recent talk of disclosure from the government, the confirmation of UAPs by the Pentagon, and somewhat confirmed existence of other dimensions, some are connecting their own dots. According to the Daily Star, many in the US and UK governments are under the belief that aliens are sinister. Look, I mean, you guys know, most of you know where I stand with all this. These are nefarious intruders, what Gary Stearman calls them. They are intruders. They are having a very, very nefarious agenda. And they do things that are against everything a normal human being believes in. Kidnapping 5-year-old boys, sexually abusing them, and then implanting them? Are you kidding me? So let's continue. According to the Daily Star, many in the US and UK governments are under the belief that aliens are sinister, while others take the next step to say it was demons in a league with Satan using quantum gravity to zoom across time. If it sounds a bit too much like doom, you might be onto something. Professor Avi Loeb is being given credit for pushing the idea. His latest about visitors from outside of our galaxy. This includes the Oumuamua, and we showed that object that was in space that entered the Milky Way from another solar system. Loeb's claims about the demonic aliens comes in the paranormal UFO connection program, saying it is possible that they would be able to figure out if there are extraspatial dimensions and take advantage of them using quantum gravity engineers. So, as crazy as it might sound to some, for example, there is a faction within, particularly the US government, but I've seen it in the UK as well, who believe that UFOs are demonic. The Harvard professor adds, and this faction, through that and maybe some other things too, have convinced themselves that this or some of this may be demonic, and therefore they say that you shouldn't engage with it, you shouldn't study it, because that feeds its energy. And I would concur on that. I don't go sky watching looking for UFOs. I don't do that. All that said, U.S. military officials recently released a report indicating that aliens were not the likely origin of the many UAPs and UFO sightings across the years. The source might not ever be known, or it'll be revealed long after the fact in a way that people will act like they knew all along. You can put money on it. And it just goes on from there, and that's basically it. That's the whole report, which I find incredible on some levels. Let's walk through it here. I have been saying this for decades. I'm working on a book, The Rungs of Disclosure, The Rungs on the Ladder of Disclosure. I will be speaking in Guthrie, Oklahoma. You can go to our website. The link should be there. You can get tickets. Mondo Gonzalez, Pete Garcia, Lee Brainerd, and myself. I'll be speaking twice. I'll be doing an introduction to UFOs, and then the rungs on the ladder of disclosure will be my second presentation. Here's what we have to remember. This is being revealed. It's being rolled out. And here's another rung on the ladder of disclosure, basically stating that I've been stating this forever, that we're looking at the fallen ones. Jesus warns us it'll be like the days of Noah. That's the presence of the fallen angels mingling the seed. And our fourth film in our UFO series on abductions, we interviewed 4 people who were taken. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. I'm not. And you need to go check that out. Our Roswell film, Exoneration, this is real. We found a piece of metal in the debris field. You can go to streaming.lamarzulli.net or www.lamarzulli.net and buy the DVDs. This is the coming great deception. The book will be released sometime this year. I'm not sure when. But the rungs on the ladder of disclosure are all too real, and they're not going away. Time to wake up. Time to wake up your pastor, your loved ones. That's why you can stream them. You can buy the DVDs and give them to your pastor. It's not going away, is it? It's not going away. And almost on a weekly basis, something happens. New sightings, new reports, new eyewitness testimonies. And we also present them right here. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Please remember that UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago.
The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucer. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazell was the man who discovered the saucer. Colonel William Blanchard of the Roswell Air Base refuses to give details of what the flying disc looks like.